Samuel chapter 1. 1 Samuel chapter 1. Take a break from our study in 1 Peter, since this is Mother's Day. Look at the first 22 verses of 1 Samuel 1. There was a certain man of great named Zophar of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Eli, the son of Tob, the son of Zoph, an Ephraimite, and he had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of the city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. The 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and to her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. And her adversaries had provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. And as he did so yearly by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli, the priest, sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto the Lord and wept sore. And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man-child, then I will give him unto the maid, unto the Lord, all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And it shall come to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart only, her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thine wine from thee. And Hannah appeared and said, No, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not thine handmaid for a woman of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. And they rose up in the morning early and worshiped before the Lord, and returned and came to their house in Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come, about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up. But she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before the Lord, and there abide forever. Elkanah, her husband, said unto her, do what seemeth thee good, tarry until thou hast weaned him. Only the Lord establish his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him. For a few minutes, I want to talk on the subject of praying parents. Praying parents. That was a time some years ago when I would consider a subject like this not applicable, where you would assume that all parents pray. But unfortunately, we live in a time when prayer is not on the list of a lot of people. Sad fact of the matter is, we've got a lot of folk who come to church who really don't pray. We have people who dare to bring children into the world, but they never really pray for them, and definitely don't pray with them. I think maybe we need to lift up this matter of prayer. I was drawn to the text, and Hannah is this story that everybody knows, but I was drawn to the text, and really what jumped out at me was this number 3, and this man went out of the city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord. In other words, he said this man had a habit of leaving his city just for one purpose, just to worship. Yeah. He'd bring his whole family just to worship. They would have to go miles in uncomfortable circumstances just to worship God. He had this habit, and even though he had this habit of worshiping God, things were not ideal in his life. But this matter of worshiping God was important enough for him to leave town to make sure that he would go and give God his rightful due. Oh, my brothers and sisters, I wish I could impress upon you the importance of worship, and that you should put worship high on your list. It's sad that too many folk don't take the time to worship God. I was in a state meeting last week, and President George Clark was saying something that troubled me. I thought I was kind of the only one going through it, but he was saying he had to call 2 of his choir members down because they had one of these, those little Bluetooth you put on your ear. They had the Bluetooth on their ear in the choir stand. And George, one of these old traditional preachers, and he said, well, now you can't sing in the choir with a Bluetooth on. I was raised up in choirs where they wouldn't let women wear jewelry, makeup. So it was nothing new, but I'm thinking about that, a Bluetooth on in the choir. A lot of pastors didn't notice it, but then he raised a very pertinent issue. He says, I don't understand why folk want to come in church with phones. When I was younger, I used to laugh about it. I said, if it ain't Jesus, hang up. But you think about that. I mean, we've gotten so technologically astute that we can't come to worship God for 2 hours without a telephone. And I remember when we had no cell phone. I remember when all they had that big old ugly phone, they had a little rotary on it, at the house. And you left the house, went wherever you had to go, and come back and use that same old ugly phone. You didn't have no call waiting. You couldn't have no little machine to take a message. If you missed the call, you just waited till they called you back again. But now we can't sit in church for 2 hours without somebody knowing that I got a phone. I used to think it was a matter. Some folk want to find a little important. It's really not important because they got people on welfare got phones and pagers. When I was a boy, the doctor used to have to get up because he had a little pager, and the doctor would get up and go take the call because he's a doctor and he would have to accept emergencies. But now you got folk, everybody think they all that. church. 2 hours without your phone. And think about that. You claim God is the most important part of your life. You say God is just your reason for living, and yet you can't come and worship with God for 2 hours without a phone call. You're talking about texting while you drive. You think God appreciates you texting while you worship? It's sad that anybody and anything can get our attention to distract us from God. It's difficult enough to worship God as it is. And now you dare bring those kind of distractions. And I hesitate to say it because I said that somebody gonna put their phone on fire, not just because I said it. But the sad thing is, whether you like it or not, is that we mistreat God when we claim God is on top. We've forgotten the importance of worship. We forgot the importance of talking to God, and more importantly, God speaking to us. We have gotten intoxicated with ourselves. Yeah. You're too important. When you're so important, you can't miss a phone call because you don't want God to talk to you. Ain't nobody in here that important. Amen. Nobody here there's nobody can call you that's that important. Amen. To interrupt your time with God. Yeah. I don't care how many degrees you got. I don't care how much money. I don't care where you work. When you that important, you are too important. Now they ought to tell you, God knows how to get your attention. Well, God can stop all that mess. Your phone can go off and you won't even hear it. I wish I had the witness here. You can hear it ringing, and God can fix it. You don't even have enough strength to push the button. Keep playing with God and see what happens. You can all that in the bag of chips. You can laugh at folks. You look down your nose at folks. Oh, you can talk about folks that are electronically astute. But the fact of the matter is, the same God changes not. He's the same yesterday, he is today. And when you talk about a cell phone, your clothes, your car, or just your attitude, anything or anybody you put ahead of God is wrong. Well, on this Mother's Day, what we celebrate, I listened to Al Sharpton. He was talking about a lady who really was the reason why we have Mother's Day. She was grieving a lot of years because they had turned Mother's Day into a commercial bonanza. Right. You see, a lot of these folks don't care nothing about mamas. They just care about selling roses and candy. It's sort of like how you have Jewish salesmen trying to sell you stuff for Christmas, but they don't care anything about Christ, but they do care about profit. Y'all better hear me today. And see, you got a lot of folks who buy into all this stuff, but when it comes to what really matters, we really forget it. What really matters is that you ought to honor your mother because she's your mother. And if you don't have 2 quarters to rub together, you still can communicate your love to your mama. Because a real mama cares more about you than she cares about anything you can buy for her. You buy all the cars you want. She's ready. You come over and just hug and say, baby, I love you. And I appreciate what you've done for me and all that you've done in my life. On this Mother's Day. What is our focus? I want to look at this lady. I mean, you don't disturb Hannah and how in those days people treasured the fact that you were a parent and she couldn't have children. You don't disturb of how her rival, this other laid back family had, just married one woman, but he was polygamous kind of a relationship, and so he has 2 wives, and one could make babies like that, and the other one couldn't make any, and the ones who had babies, she know how to tease Hannah, and she messed with Hannah's head, and she made her feel bad every chance she got, and you know how life is like that. It may not be about having children, but there always will be some people in your life who will try to bring you down. There's always some folk in your life who will try to remind that want to remind you of your shortcomings. There's always some folk trying to mess with your head, and you need to know what to do when life has kicked you to the point. She was grieved, she was messed up, she was down low, and the Bible said she purposed in her heart to go to the Lord's house with her husband, but she's not going like she'd been going before. She purposed before she left home, I'm going to church and I'm going to talk to God about it. Y'all better hear me today. See, fact of the matter is, a lot of times you're trying to handle your problems, a lot of times you're trying to deal with your struggles, a lot of times you're trying to deal with what's going on in your life, but you really don't know how to handle it until you learn how to take it to the Lord and leave it there. So that brings me to my first point. I'm talking about a dedicated petition. All right. A dedicated petition that she came to pray. Yeah. But just wasn't no regular prayer. She didn't just come to pray for devotion. I told y'all somebody gonna turn their phone on because I said that. And then got to give it to the baby, try to make the baby that she prayed, but when she prayed, she poured her heart out to the Lord. Yeah. She poured her heart out to the Lord. I find out when you're praying and you're really talking to God, you really don't care how you look. See, when I was a Sunday, I was preaching, and I was called to preach, and Daddy was praying, and the spirit was high, and then pretty soon the lady started shouting. Oh man, she was shouting, and I tried to grab that woman, man, she was just, man, she's already thinking at me, I was strong, young, and I was light, and she said, I'm just going there, and folks grabbed that woman, and she just a shout, oh man, and finally her wig kind of moved to the right. And after I saw that woman stop shouting to straighten up her wig. Y'all don't hear me. See, I got a problem with folk who claim they in the spirit, but you still concerned about the way you look. See, I think when the Holy Ghost really get a hold of you, you really don't care about what side the wind is on. When the Holy Ghost get a hold of you, you ain't really concerned about if your makeup is in place. I tell people all the time, I see women who are all particular, but I want you to see folk, and I see you want to make sure their makeup is all right. When you're in the intensive care unit and you're struggling between life and death, you are not concerned about whether or not your powder is on just right and your eyeliner is in place. No. When you struggle with your life, all you concerned about, Lord, can you hear my cry? Can you hear my prayer? Yeah. Bible declared that she was in anger, she was crying, she was laboring. She pours out her heart to the Lord. And I just came by to tell you that no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, everybody has the privilege of calling on the name of the Lord. Yeah. If it's important to you, it's important to God. Because y'all find out, if it's not all that, God can fix your heart. Yeah. So that you get your priorities straight. I told you before, the Bible said He'll give you the desires of your heart. That doesn't mean that God will give you stuff that you have no business having. But what it does, it means God can change your desires. So trivial stuff don't become important to you any longer. You know how to give God His rightful due. She pours her heart out to the Lord. Y'all know the story. She prays and asks God to give her a son. But then she didn't just ask for a son. She said, God, if you give him to me, I'll give it back to you. Oh, my Lord. If you give him to me, I'll give it back to you. I said it, Brother Raymond, I got a climax for that, so I'll hold that point. I'm telling you what I'm going to climax before I get there. Because I'm good at that. She poured out. When's the last time you prayed to God and poured your heart out in worship? I said, I think praying ought to be a prerequisite for parents. I do not feel you can be a good parent without praying. I know some atheists, they're good parents, they don't pray. They might be considered good in a lot of circles. But let me tell you something. Anybody who raises a child and don't lead that child to Christ has cheated the child. Yeah. My dad ain't worked the whole time I was living with him. He's the one who provided, put food on the table. Yeah. My mama cooked for us. She cleaned that house. She was there. My mama didn't put us off on nobody else. I had parents who were in the house. They were parents. I can talk about a lot of things they did for me. But the most important thing they did in my life was they introduced me to God. My mom and daddy didn't send me to church. They brought me to church. They didn't tell me how to be a good man. They showed me what a good man was like. My mama was playing on the piano in church. My daddy was singing in the choir before he became a deacon. He was a Sunday school teacher. Then he became a preacher. I saw them functioning in church. They came to prayer meeting. I saw them. And all this stuff. My daddy wasn't the most educated man in the world. My mom didn't tell me was pretty smart. They didn't have the money to go to college like some folks did. Her daddy was poor and they didn't have a whole lot. But you know what? That really doesn't bother me now, because they did for me what a whole lot of folks still don't have. They showed me who God was and what being a Christian is all about. I found out God in your life can make up for a whole lot of deficiency. When you got God in your life, He can really pick up a whole lot of areas. When you know God, you have what you need when the storms of life come. The storms will come, but you need to know how to pray. Storms will come, but you need to know who to call on. Storms will come, but you need to know who to rely on when your friends turn your back. Their backs on you. You got to know you can depend on God. When your family gets acting a fool, you can still call on God. When folk you think in your corner turn out to have knives in your back, you still can lean and depend on Jesus. God will make a difference in your life. And in this age when you all think prayer is just something we talk about, and prayer is something you do at a certain time on the agenda, I came by to tell you, prayer is not a word you put on the church program. Prayer has to be a lifestyle. Prayer has to be something that's a vital part of your living. You got to learn how to call on the name of the Lord. Don't just call on it when you're in trouble, but call on it when you need somebody to talk to. Call on it when you just want to say thank you sometime. Call on it when you just think about how good God has been to you and where God has brought you from. You ought to just praise the Lord and say, Lord, you're worthy. Some of your best prayers won't be while you're begging. Some of your best prayers will be while you praise. You know, I found out you can't praise God without feeling better yourself. And Doc, it's really kind of funny. Ain't got a dime in your pocket, but you feel like you're rich. Ain't got, oh, I wish I had the witness here. Got holes in your shirt, but you feel like you're the best dressed man in town because the Lord is by your side. They don't get depressed. I'm having to put it on Facebook. Don't get depressed when your friends walk away from you. That's just God's way of showing you who your real friends are. Yeah. I can stay there saying this dedicated petition that if you dare to be honest with God, but pray for me, you can get a prayer through. Let me tell you something, baby. You can get a prayer through. I don't care who you are. If you have a sincere heart and you open up your heart to God, God will hear your prayer. God has no respect of person. If you die to be earnest with it. Say, God, here I am. He'll speak to your soul. Next thing I see is diagnosing people. I start saying diagnosing preacher. Because in the text, it was Eli that diagnosis of prayer. In fact, more accurately, he really misdiagnosis of prayer. But it would be wrong just to pick on preachers, because the fact of the matter is, you got a lot of folk trying to diagnose you while you're going through. Y'all better hear me today. That folks are quick to look at you when you're in your storm and try to diagnose whether you're right or whether you're wrong. Y'all better hear me today. A lot of folk will look at you in worship, and they will look at the way you worship and try to determine whether you're sincere or not. Oh, y'all better hear me today. And I can't about tell you, you're on dangerous ground when you try to evaluate whether somebody else is sincere or not, because you don't have what it takes to make that evaluation. Man looks at the outward appearance, but God is the one who looks at the heart. And until you have X-ray vision and you can look at somebody's heart, and by the way, I'm not talking about this pump right here. I'm talking about the heart of your mind, the heart of your being, the heart of your soul. You see, really when the doctor does an autopsy and he cuts you open and they open up your brain, they still can't see your heart. Y'all better hear me today. When they look and they start trying to dissect the parts of your body, they still can't see your soul. There's a part of you that you can't see with the naked eye. There's a part of you that nobody sees but the Lord. He diagnoses the more important of it. He misdiagnoses. And I think I ought to tell you, don't get discouraged because you're at the bottom of the end of your rope. You're at the bottom of your trying, and it seems like you don't get the support you're supposed to get. Don't give up because the folk are not giving you your due. They're misdiagnosing where you are spiritually. Don't let other folks' appraisal of you determine who you are. You need to know that you know who you are. You need to know that you know who God is. You need to know that when you call on him, he heard you cry. No matter what they said, it doesn't matter whether they hear you. Does God hear you? I tell you about when I was out to eat one day with a pretty girl, and she tried to be smart. She said, you didn't say grace. I said, yes, I did. So I didn't hear you. I said, but I'm talking to you. And you see, that's what's wrong with a lot of folks. You're so busy putting on a show for folk. Y'all better hear me. You forgot who is really all the power. Worship is not as much about the folk. Now, you can't worship right without having some fellowship. You don't worship right without other believers contributing. But first and foremost, you need to make sure that you talk to God, that God talks to you. Eli saw, he said, oh, you're drunk. Drunk. And you know, people are quick to say you're drunk. People are quick to say you're intoxicated. And they always want to make you intoxicated on the wrong stuff. They don't say you're drunk on kindness. You don't say you're drunk with integrity. They don't say you're drunk with goodwill. No. They always want to make you intoxicated with the wrong kind of stuff. You greedy. You something else. You this, that, and the other. You drunk on arrogance. You drunk on thinking you more than who you are. They always want to put a label on you that's not supposed to be on you. But the Bible tells us, don't let that bother you. God said to the Eli priest, looked at her, you're drunk. He said, oh, no. I'm not drunk. I'm praying. You know, and I like, she didn't use that word prayer. She says, I'm pouring. Oh, I wish I had a witness. My soul before the Lord. I I'm not drunk, but I'm not just praying a regular kind of prayer. I'm not praying a routine worship kind of prayer. I'm pouring my soul out to the Lord. I wish I had a witness here. And Eli gives us some good news. Because you know, a lot of folks have a problem. They have trouble admitting when they're wrong. And some folk would rather lie than admit they're wrong. Some folk would rather lie than admit they made a mistake. But Eli said, oh, I'm sorry. Since you prayed, guess what? I'm going to pray with you. Since you prayed, and I like that. He didn't ask her what you praying for. I want to call it by name. He said, whatever you're praying for, whatever is your petition, I'm praying that God will grant it to you. Do I have a witness? Y'all misdiagnosed your case. I talked about you, but guess what? Now I'm in your corner. Now I'm not going to leave here bad mouthing you. I'm not going to leave here gossiping against you, but I'm going to leave here praying that the Lord will give you whatever it is that you're asking for. Y'all better hear me today. Yeah, well, there are two or three agreeing and touching on my name. There am I in the midst. I dare you to have somebody praying the same prayer you pray. I said that's what public praying is all about. It's hearing somebody else pray a prayer, and then you join in on that same prayer. Lord, I want to ditto what they said. Lord, I want to focus in on that prayer. Just like they had that concern, I'm going to make that my concern too. Lord, have mercy. Do I have a witness here? And I think I'll tell you, you need some folk to agree with you. And then you need to be more agreeable yourself. You need to start still trying to pull folk down. You need to start praying for some things they've been praying for. People are pouring their hearts out before the Lord. And you want to talk about tribute. You need to learn how to join in on that prayer. Y'all been mighty nice. I'm going to close this thing out. I want to close it out by talking about donating parents. Donating parents. That these praying parents were willing to make a petition before the Lord that was a dedicated petition. These praying parents had to deal with diagnosing people. All right. Who want to misdiagnose your case, but in some cases they're willing to join in your prayer. The last thing it shows up in the text is that these parents were donating parents. Because the Bible declares that when the boy got old enough, Hannah gave him back to the Lord. I wish I had a witness here. Oh, Reverend, that ain't no big deal. I already knew that. Well, I didn't say it because I didn't think you knew it or didn't know it. I said it because maybe you ought to do it. You see, I found out that there are a lot of folk who don't mind calling on the name of the Lord when they ask for something. A lot of people don't have a problem asking God to give me a blessing. A lot of people don't have a problem pouring their heart out to God when they want something. But as soon as it comes to the point where you're supposed to give back, y'all don't hear me, then they get amnesia. They get selective spiritual amnesia. Do I have a witness here? You prayed for God to give you a better job. And when God blessed you with that job, you forgot. You're supposed to give a tenth back to him. Do I have a witness here? He didn't ask for all of it. He just said, give me a tenth and some offering. But somehow that got lost in the shuffle. You're so busy counting your money. You're so busy buying your new car. You're so busy getting your brand new brick house. You forgot to give God his just due. Do I have a witness here? You prayed for God to give you a windfall, and you got a big check in the mail that you can't even And when you got that check, you even had nerve enough to say, thank you, Lord. But by the time you got to church, you had spiritual amnesia. Yeah, and you forgot to give God his part of that unknown blessing. Do I have a witness here? But I praise God that Hannah and Elkanah, they remembered to give back to the Lord. You see, when Hannah was praying, she wasn't just praying for herself. She wasn't just praying, God, give me a child. But she said, if you give me a child, I'll give him back to you. Do I have a witness here? And there's nothing greater you can do than give your child back to the Lord. There's nothing greater you can do than bring your child to the Lord, and leave him in the Father's care. I found out having your child in the Lord is one of the most comforting things to a parent. So I found out you can't go everywhere they go, and you can't see everything they do, but you can call on the Lord and say, Lord, I can't be there, but just like you watched over me, you watch over my child. Lord, I know they're going to get into some stuff they have no business getting into, just like I got into some stuff I had no business getting into. But Lord, just like you delivered me, I need you to deliver them. Do I have a witness here? Yes, she didn't mind, turning him over to the Lord. And you need to learn how to turn your children over to the Lord. You need to learn how to call their names on the altar. You need to learn how to let go and let God. And let God be that substitute parent who fills in the gap where you can't do, God can do. You can't change them, but God can change them. You can't put a fence around them, but God can. He's able to make a way out of nowhere. Well, my brothers and sisters, the Bible declared, that they took Samuel and they brought him back to the Lord. Yes, I promise you, I was going to give it to you, so I'm going to bring him back. Not going to let a razor touch his head. I'm going to give him a Nazarite vow, and he's going to spend the rest of his days working for the Lord. Do I have a witness here? I think I ought to tell you that Hannah wasn't trying to get out of her job, but Hannah was dedicated to the Lord. But she prayed to God, and she got her son. She prayed to God, and she gave her son. But after she gave her son, she kept on praying to the Lord. After Samuel was living with Eli, she prayed to the Lord. Preacher, how you know she prayed? I don't see anywhere in the Bible where she prayed after she went to the temple. But the reason I know she prayed because Samuel, was a man who God had his hands on him. I know she was still praying because before he knew what it was all about, God was talking to him, called him by name. When he ran to Eli, he said, you called me. And Eli said, no, I didn't. He came the second time. And he said, no, I didn't. But when he came the third time, he said, son, I know what's going on. When he calls you the next time, just said, Lord, here's your servant, and I hear what you have to say. She kept on praying, and God kept on blessing. She kept on praying, and God kept on lifting him up. She kept on praying, and he became one of the greatest judges in the history of Israel. He kept on praying, and he was the man that God used to bring the first king in. Well, all I'm trying to tell you that your mother prayed for you. a stronger prayer life. I told you that book by Ian Miles, Powerful Prayer, that really changed my life. And he said, there's one characteristic all great men and women of faith had. They all had strong prayer lives. You can't really have a strong spiritual life without having a strong prayer life. You can't really do great things in kingdom building. I'm talking about kingdom building without having a strong prayer life. Take the time to talk to God. I'm talking about your children, but you don't just have to lift up your children, you can lift up your life. Plead God's guidance in your life. Find out what His purpose is for you. Find out where He wants you to go. Now He sing that song, Order My Steps, but don't just sing about it, really mean it that you want God to order your steps. I don't want to go there unless God wants me there. I don't want to be where God doesn't want me to be. I don't want to stay where God doesn't want me to stay. I want to make sure what I'm doing is in the will of God. I said before, God has no respect to the person. Just like God hears me, He'll hear you. If you take the time to call whosoever will, let them come. If you are here and you're looking for a church home, now is the time to come. If you're here and have doubts about your salvation, we can fix that in the Word of God. He says if you just have faith in Jesus Christ, you can be saved. If you're here and you just going through a spiritual hard times, a spiritual storm, a spiritual struggle, it's kind of rough in your life. You're having a spiritual tornado, just